Hello folks, it's Eamon McAuley here, Belfast boxing historian and ex-pro fighter. I'm back with another wee chat today about boxers from the past. Today I want to talk about one of my heroes. He was a wee boxer from West Belfast, the Cashmere Road, that's where he was born and reared. Paddy Sticky Maguire. Paddy won a Commonwealth silver in Jamaica in 1966, the year I was born. And that was at featherweight. Paddy told me that he was only a flyweight and he didn't know why they sent him to the games at featherweight. Paddy lost in points in the final to Felipe Waringa, who won the best boxer later at the 1968 Mexico Olympics, where he got robbed in the semi-final. Paddy was the only boxer to take Waringa the distance in the Commonwealth Games in Jamaica, and I have put this fight and many of Paddy's fights on YouTube, so check them out. Paddy turned pro and he ploughed a lonely furrow in London. He was a roofer and he worked on building sites. Paddy won the British bantamweight title in his third attempt, stopping Dave Needham in the 14th round. There's a photo of him there winning the British title, holding up the Lonsdale belt. Paddy had challenged Needham the previous year in Nottingham. That year was 1974, and IRA bombs had killed innocent people in Birmingham a few weeks earlier. Paddy said he was abused, spat on, and anti-Irish insults were shouted. Paddy was booed throughout the duration of the fight. It really was a cauldron of atmospheric hate. There was no way was he going to get the decision there. After Paddy won the British title, he journeyed over to France to box for the European crown against the Frenchman and holder Daniel Triolari. Paddy had the Frenchman down twice and was convinced that he was robbed. Harry Carpenter, who'd done the commentary for the BBC, was also convinced that Paddy was robbed. The fight was called a draw. In the final year of Paddy's boxing career, 1977, Paddy was given a big money fight in Los Angeles against 18-0 Alberto Sandoval at the Fabulous Forum. Incidentally, I was in the Fabulous Forum, which was later called the Inglewood Forum and then the Great Western Forum, but the same place. In February 1987, Barney Eastwood brought me and Paul Hodgkinson into some of the roughest, toughest gyms in Los Angeles. And me and Paul were also in Bernardo Pinango's camp as Pinango defended his WBA world title against local veteran Frankie Duarte in the Fabulous Forum, Inglewood Forum. Me and Paul bumped into Sylvester Stallone that night. Anyway, getting back to Paddy Maguire. And for this big money opportunity, Paddy had to pass a stringent medical as the American fight was in the balance. Paddy had been receiving cut after cut on his right eye, and they thought there might be retina trouble. So they flew Paddy over to Harley Street in London, and the doctor said, "Okay, Paddy, which eye is giving you all this trouble?" Paddy had a light bulb moment, and he directed the doctor to his left eye, which was fine. And Paddy passed the medical and flew over to Los Angeles, where even though he got stopped by the ref in round 9, he pocketed a huge payday. 2 fights after this, Paddy lost his British title to Welshman Johnny Owen over 15 rounds and retired from boxing. Johnny Owen, incidentally, went over to Los Angeles, and again the venue was the Fabulous Forum, Inglewood Forum, where Owen would lose his fight and lose his life against Mexican Lupe Pintor. Forgot to say, Paddy stopped a brilliant Irish amateur, Mick Dowling, in an Irish senior final in 2 rounds. It was the only time Dowling was ever beat inside the distance in over 200 fights. To be fair, Dowling won a box off sometime later against Paddy, but Paddy said he was robbed. Paddy always said he was robbed. On one Friday about 7-8 years ago, we all met up at Castle Court for our annual boxing meet-up. Me, Paddy, Davy, Sammy and Callum Holmes finished our afternoon chat, and as we went down the escalator at the food court, Paddy says, "Hold on, I need to use the toilets. I will go back up again." We told him that we will wait at the bottom of the escalators on him. There are 2 escalators in Castle Court, with one at the food court where we had been. We chatted away as we waited on Paddy. About 20 minutes passed and Davy says, "What is keeping Paddy?" Someone said, "He's probably talking to someone, you know what he's like." So I went up the escalator to see if I could find him. I couldn't, so I checked the toilets and he wasn't there. Over 30 minutes had elapsed, so Davy says, "I'm going to ring him," as we were getting a bit worried as Paddy had some memory issues. Anyway, Davy rang him and Paddy answered. "Where are you?" Davy shouted. "I'm in the house," said Paddy. Paddy had forgot about us and had went down the other escalator. Unbelievable. But we laughed about it. Another time I mentioned Muhammad Ali and Paddy says, "Oh, he was in my house this morning, the wife done him his breakfast." And we all looked at each other. And I says, "Paddy, Muhammad Ali died in 2016. And he looked intently at me and he says, "Did he?" I says, "Aye, Paddy." So 30 seconds came and went, and as I'm talking to somebody else, I could hear Paddy behind me telling the rest of them about Muhammad Ali being in his house that morning and his wife doing his breakfast. So, what a character. Paddy boxed on the same show as Muhammad Ali when Ali boxed Al Blue Lewis at Croke Park, Ireland in 1972. And Paddy got to know Muhammad Ali, and this is a photo of Ali and Paddy taken in 1972. It was actually taken in London. Muhammad Ali got into the ring and called Paddy Maguire and Dave Needham to come up as they were fighting the next week, and Muhammad Ali lifted both their arms in the air. For the record, both Muhammad Ali and Paddy won their fights at Croke Park. I used to love our Friday afternoon in Castle Court food area. Me, Paddy, Davy Larmer, Sammy Vernon, Stevie Hanna, Paddy Muir, sometimes Marty Quinn, and as time would pass, other people who had never boxed would join us because the crack was brilliant. It seems like a long time ago now. Sammy's dead, Stevie's dead, Paddy is 78 now, and Davy and Marty have memory problems. Paddy has a big family of 11, 9 girls, 2 boys, and they rightly hold their dad in the highest esteem. Paddy is a hero to me. He was a great boxer, and many of his losses were due to cut eyes. Mickey Duff managed Paddy, and Paddy boxed in America and Australia as a pro. Paddy ended up training Davy Larmer, and Davy won the British title with Paddy in his corner as his coach. In closing, I just want to say I miss meeting them boys on the Friday afternoon. I remember we all went down, 4 or 5 of us, to meet Paddy's old opponent, Mick Dowling, in Dublin. Mick wasn't expecting us, and when we called him Mick's shop, he was deeply moved. He took us all out for lunch, and he wouldn't let us pay. Humble Mick said, "Thank God I didn't box Sammy Vernon." It was an honour and a privilege to meet up with these legends, and I'm blessed to say that they were my pals. Through Davy, I was able to visit John Rogers and Jerry Hamill at their houses. The The stories these guys used to tell, they were from an amazing generation of boxing. Sadly today, boxing is on a sneeze. No wonder Roberto Duran walks about with a cap that says, "Make boxing great again." Just Paddy was inducted into the British Boxing Hall of Fame some years ago, and he brought his son Patrick over to the event at London, and everyone was glad to see him. It was a wonderful, wonderful visit. So folks, take care and God bless, and maybe I'll see you soon.